Hey guys, Verbal Legend 95, recording live from Local County Prison Cell. Sorry about the blinding light behind me. Jeez. Alright. Yeah, so here to do another fight. It's one that's been on the back burner for a little bit. Trying to get a consistent schedule back of doing maybe like one of these a week or every other week, and I've got some plans for which ones I'm gonna do in the following couple of weeks, but yeah, I figured I'd just get this one out of the way. Like I said, it's been on the back burner for a while. It's Neon White from the game, Neon White, and V1 from Ultra Kill. The reason behind this is basically because their games are pretty similar. They are the same style of game, essentially. But they do also have similar sort of undertones. I'll get into this a little more in the character evaluation, but yeah, it's gonna be and also this seems just like an awesome fucking fight. This is we're past the 1 minute mark. This seems like a pretty epic fight of being able to this would be a bloodbath in some cases, probably more sense than, or in more than one sense. So Neon White. So Neon White is a former assassin, human who is recruited in heaven as an assassin or a mercenary, along with a bunch of other people known as the Neons. And yeah, they're recruited on a temporary basis to serve as sort of like heaven's assassins. There's a bunch of stuff that goes on back and forth in the story, but basically this guy's going around murking whoever he's told to. And he has the equipment to do it. So I mean, there's a bunch of weapons in the game. They all have like religiously themed names. Like one's called like punishment, one's called stuff like that. So like I don't want to get too far into it because I don't remember all of them, or at least don't remember all the names. He's got a katana, he's got a handgun, he's got a shotgun, he's got a I think it's like a minigun, he's got a rifle, he's got a rocket launcher, which in many cases is actually better than his best weapon. You ever notice that in these like Doom clones? A lot of times the second best weapon is like, in some cases, a lot better than the best. Whatever. I always thought the pulse rifle in the original Doom was better than the BFG, but it's just me. But yeah, and then his number one weapon is referred to as the Book of Life, which is basically allows him to just shoot an energy blast that hones in and detects on an enemy from any range, and yeah, it also pretty much allows him to fly. That kind of brings me to the caveat of these weapons, is that they're all... It's hard to determine whether this is game mechanic or not, but they all give him a movement option that he in-game, which is referred to as the discard ability, because the weapons all come in forms of cards. So by throwing away the weapon, essentially, he can perform a movement action. If that's just in-game mechanics, then he's capable of, bursting through walls and sprinting at, moving at super speed for short bursts. He's capable of flight. He's capable of all these crazy things. If it's not in-game mechanic, it's actually part of his unique power set or something, like if it's something that like, oh no, all the cards are just weapons, like they turn into weapons, but then then that's a little different. For the sake of I don't want to say competition, but for the sake of like fairness, I'm going to say that it's actually just in-game mechanics and it wouldn't affect a real fight. So he doesn't like carry around all these weapons. He just has access to them. So, but you would give him all of these weapons, or at least take into account the usage of all these weapons in an actual fight. So you would essentially give him all these weapons in an actual fight. But, yeah, and like in pretty much all in-game enemies, except for like the boss fights, the Book of Life is a one-hit kill. But yeah, in many cases, a lot of people consider the rocket launcher to be the better weapon because it also one-shots most enemies, and it gives you much more freedom of access to through use of the discard ability. The rocket jump just basically lets you traverse a whole map by itself. So yeah, but that's besides the point. Now to go to the character I know a little bit better, and not because I've played the game more extensively, but because I watched a breakdown of it before I had the idea for this video, funny enough. And that is V1 from Ultra Kill. Ultra Kill is actually it's a really cool game if you've never had a chance. I've actually recommended it to people, despite not really having played it all that much. So basically, in the pretty simple lore of the series, V1 is essentially a soldier robot that was designed to clean up it's not really super thorough on it, but there is basically in the future, there's sort of like a demon infestation, in a sense, and he's one of the robots programmed basically just to take out as many as he can, as far as I'm aware. And there is actually a version 2. Version 2 is just very heavily armored. Version 1, V1, is not very heavily armored. He's more agile, but he makes up for his lack of armor and defensive abilities with a very unique feature with his programming, which is he absorbs blood to repair himself. Yeah, a robot being designed to do that's not weird. But yeah, no, the more bleeding there is going on, he can actually absorb the blood, and then the blood, I guess, goes into his robot parts, and he ends up repairing, and he repairs himself. So it's almost like he heals off of it. But that's just like the tip of all the crazy shit that goes on in this game. So V1, like Neon and like many, games of the same caliber or of the same style, has, a multitude of different weapons. He has a handgun. He has I think it's called a super gun or something, a stronger handgun. He has things like shotguns. He has things like rifles. He has rocket launchers as well. So he actually has a lot of the same weapons as Neon does. However, where V1 and Ultra Kill as a series actually excels at is creatively implementing all of these weapons into different purposes. See, all of these weapons more or less interact with something in some way, and there's actually one other weapon in the arsenal I forgot to mention, which is just a coin. It's not a magic coin, it doesn't explode, but it is a weapon in its own right, because this coin is capable of ricocheting bullets. So, in-game, if you flip the coin into the air and shoot at it, it ricochets bullets in different directions, and this has different effects based on which guns you use. If you use the rifle, it rains down multiple bullets. If you use the handgun, it shoots down one. You can ricochet in different directions. It's really, really cool, and it's really, really skill testing, actually. Another thing is that he is capable of parrying. He's fast enough to parry projectile weapons using the punch action, funny enough, which it's cool that they implement the punch action into something useful rather than just in case everything else goes to hell. But among these weapons, among being able to parry certain weapons, he can parry, and by parry I mean like hit back, basically, like punch the projectiles back at you. He can parry his own rockets as they are leaving his rocket launcher. So he is, and again, this might just be in-game mechanic, but it is it is something that we have to, you should kind of assume that he's capable of doing it. It's not like a limitation. This is an actual thing that you're able to do. He's fast enough to punch rockets into his opponent as they're leaving the rocket launcher, which actually makes them go faster and makes them do more damage. Meaning that he's also able to punch with a bigger force than a rocket launcher leaves a rocket launcher with, which is incredible. So yeah, I just wanted to go through the basic weapons and everything because the stories of these games are iffy. But yeah, going into it, this is actually this is kind of interesting because, like I said, they both have very similar weapons. Neon White is capable of he has that like human element to him, which means he's capable of, thinking in a way that a machine is not capable of thinking in. But then again, as I've pointed out with all the weapon interactions, V1 is nothing if not creative. So that's not really an issue. I do think Neon White bleeds, right? So if there's some angelic reason he doesn't bleed, then that would actually put a limitation on V1, but it wouldn't let him keep recurring. Because like I said, V1 is actually not very durable as a he can't take a whole lot of damage. He kind of heavily relies on absorbing blood from his enemies. The other factor is the Book of Life. Like I said, the Book of Life is an instant kill for most of the enemies in the game, and it's got like tracking, and it's almost any range, and it's very, very powerful weapon. The only thing that gives me reservations about it is that V1 did fight the actual biblical archangel Gabriel, who also used divine energy attacks. But like I said, he survived them. You can survive those hits in game, but not many of them. So I don't think it would be a one-shot versus V1, but I think it would be effective enough that a couple of them would do it. The thing is, it's all of the different ways that V1 can use his weapons. Because like I said, they have very similar arsenals, but, Neon White has this one crazy weapon, and V1 has a lot of similar weapons, but then they all sort of turn into crazy weapons when used in conjunction with each other. And let's not forget the parry ability, which, if he's fast enough to do it to a rocket as it's leaving the rocket launcher, then he's got to be fast enough to do it in total, like against most other weapons. And because they are using the same weapons, we know that V1 would be able, not the exact same, but like they're both using rocket launchers, they're both using sniper rifles. We have to assume that V1 would be capable of parrying back Neon's projectiles, which is something that Neon just can't do. So yeah, that would be my only thing about this fight. So I think it would go to V1, right? Assuming that I didn't look into it. And I there might be something in game that shows proof of it, but like assuming Neon White bleeds, which I don't think is a ridiculous assumption to make, I think V1 might have the advantage because then that helps compensate for the biggest disadvantage, which is the lack of durability. Also, again, this just might be game mechanics. Maybe we don't take this into consideration, but like all of the weapons in Neon White have really shit levels of ammo compared to Ultra Kill. So, I mean, if you're taking that literally, then you're saying like, okay, each of Neon White's weapons only has X number of shots in it, but V1's has this many shots in it. Therefore, right? Because in both games you're always running into ammo constantly, so it shouldn't be like a determining factor. But yeah, no, I think the biggest factor is gonna be the ability and the absurd strength and speed that allows V1 to jump around as much as he does and like punch back projectiles and do things like that. Yeah, the only thing, like I said, the only thing that he really has, that Neon has, that would kill him would be the Book of Life, I think. I mean, like, okay, the rockets and guns would kill him eventually. It's just that he also has those. They would also kill Neon, and V1 has a counter to those. I don't think he can punch back the Book of Life, the energy from the Book of Life. So, but like I said, the Book of Life only has X number of shots in it, and I personally think V1 could tank at least one, and in doing so, gives him a lot of, like he would need to then hit Neon to get some energy back, or to get some help, to repair himself by making him bleed. But I'm gonna go with V1. Yeah, so that's just my take on it. But glad to get this one out of the way. Really cool fight. Like I said, really cool fight. I would really like to see this one happen. As I've been saying, guys, let's keep our heads up. Let's support Death Battle as much as we can. Go like the Death Battle cast episodes. Go like the fight only videos that they're uploading. Go like, talk to them on, join the Discord server, like the tweets, do everything you got to do to let's try to keep this thing above water, and hopefully we'll get to a point where we can expect these fights that I'm talking about to happen again, because this is what, this is why we're here. So, Rebel Engine 95, see ya.